Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Bird of the Week, where I take a bird each week or month. I try my best. You know how it goes. I write a song for that bird. I tell you guys some fun facts about that bird. And most importantly, I tell you the emotional reasons behind why Asanabenche relates to that bird. Now, today's Bird of the Week. Thanks to all you guys who signed up for the mailing list at the last show at the Mint, which was a great success. Thank you guys for coming. For all you guys who signed up for the mailing list, we asked you what your favorite bird was. Now, 2 of you guys said the loon. The rest of you guys said a bunch of different things, and they're all different. So this week, because we got 2 for the loon, we're doing the loon. Here we go. The loon. So first of all, let's start again with why I made that song. Now in this video, the loon is looking around at first, seeing kind of like, is there anything around? Is there any threat around? Before I go to my babies, make sure nothing's gonna swoop down and try to take me or my baby eggs. So I wanted to have some suspenseful chords there. Ascending suspenseful dominant chords with the sharp 4 and the sharp 5. Keep it, very mysterious, keep it very on our edge. And then once the loon gets on the land, it's trying to walk on land. Now, loons don't walk on land very well. You're gonna find that out later in this episode. I wanted just something that's moving, that's getting them going, that's like, oh my God, I gotta get to these eggs. It's the time, I'm taking action. And then once the loon sits down and finally is roosting on top of its eggs, I wanted to have something that was relief. It's gonna be okay. Everything's fine. I'm taking care of my babies. I'm protecting my babies. Everything's good. And all these 3 things, these 3 phases of this progression of this video are great indications and some great things to lead into our fun facts about loons. So, as you can see here, fun facts. And some fun facts about loons. Let's start with number 1. Loons are water animals. They do not like the land. They do not like to walk on land. As you can see in that video, they are not very good at walking on land. So loons, they stick to the water. They also hunt in the water. Their feet, their legs are far back on their body, which equips them with the ability to swim super fast with their webbed toes, with their big webbed toes, and they can swim super fast. Now, the other thing also is that they can exhale air super quickly when they see something, get the air out of their body, and then at the same time, condense their feathers so that there's no air pockets within their feathers and their wings and everything. And their heart rate naturally slows down as they go underwater so that they can stay there for longer. So as a result of this, loons are the ultimate swimming bird machine. And I almost forgot, their bones are dense, they're not hollow. A lot of bird bones are hollow, allowing them to fly a lot easier. Meanwhile, loon bones are dense so they can get down in the water and be quick and efficient and heavy and piling through and killing fish with efficiency, which is why their top roof of their mouth and their tongue have kind of spiky textures to them in order to make it so that fish don't just slip out of their mouths. But the one sort of trade-off for their incredible swimming ability and their incredible hunting ability is it takes them, first of all, a while to take off to fly. They have to kind of slowly, like a plane, use like a runway of water space. And because they're really not good on land, they can't actually take off from the land. And so they really can only take off in a situation where they have enough water in front of them to get going and get into the air, which results in them sometimes getting stuck in smaller bodies of water, like a flooded area or like a small pond, where then they don't have enough room to runway, take off. And so they get stranded in these places. It's very, very fucking sad, actually. I feel bad for them. When they're first mating, the beginning of mating season, they are extremely aggressive, they're extremely hostile. The males will fight over territory. So if one male has tried to claim a territory, a younger male might come in and try and challenge that male for that territory and for the female in that territory. Now, why can 2 males not exist in the same territory? Well, it's because loons live in pairs and they have babies in pairs. So they don't let other adult loons in the area, and to the point where they will actually fight to the death sometimes for this territory. And their fighting happens underwater because that's where they're best. And so then the winner of that fight will, ultimately get the female of that territory, and the two of them will have babies. Now they're always gonna, be extremely hostile to other birds, and they'll use a few kind of calls to, deter other animals and other birds from coming into their territory. We'll cover that later. Now, when they do have their babies, now this is later in spring, early summer, they have their babies. They're extremely, extremely protective of these babies, and both parents share the parenting duties of these babies. So obviously they're chicks, they're birds, so they have chicks. And what happens there is that whenever any animal, whenever any person, anything gets close to their chicks, gets close to them with their chicks, they make a sound. They let you know. They say, "Get the hell away from us and our babies. Fuck you." Now, the only threats really to their babies are bald eagles. Mainly. Occasionally, if you're in the right place, an osprey, but rarely, because osprey are hunting fish. They don't really fuck with birds like that. And then you got the occasional, very occasional snapping turtle, and those are their three primary predators, unless they're living in a lake where humans have previously illegally introduced some other kind of species that theoretically would attack a baby loon. But adult loons rarely get attacked by things. But so they're very, very protective of their babies during that season. And then as the season goes on, it only takes them a couple to a few months for the babies to actually become independent so that they don't have to protect their babies anymore. And once that happens, loons actually become much more social animals, and they'll hang out together in bigger groups of adult loons. They'll hang out together, they'll have fun, they'll do their thing. Now, there are three different loon calls that I want to cover here that are important to note. One
being the whale.
Now this is the classic loon call. Now I'm sure if you are familiar with loons at all, you're familiar with them because you've heard their call. Their call is famous, their call is world renowned. In some cases they're used in like horror movies, things like that. So their call is very famous. And now they also have a couple other calls. When they're threatened, they do something called a tremolo. And the tremolo is just like, get the hell out of, get out of my way, get away from me. These types of things, like, you don't want to fuck with us, you don't want to fuck with our babies, or else shit's gonna get bad for you. So they, the tremolo is, when they feel threatened, all that. Tremolo comes out, primarily in the early season when they're protecting their babies or trying to fight each other. That's when that tremolo comes out. And then they have this thing called the hoot, and the hoot really doesn't come out until later in the season when they're more social together, and it's a more, it's a shorter burst of sound, and that's more of like a little communication that they have between them. It seems like a friendly thing, and so that's a whole different, type of communication for later in the season, in the late summer and fall when they're more communal. They're also migratory birds, so they get out of there for the winter. They get out of where they live for the winter, and the reason being is because they primarily live in northern North America. You're not going to see them pretty much anywhere in the south. So they'll be migrating south, though, to warmer places during the winter. And when they do that, oftentimes, especially in females, their plumage actually changes for that period of time. Instead of them being the classic, blackhead with the red eye and the white spots, they actually become pretty much just gray and white, and they're pretty unrecognizable during that time of the year because people just don't even think that they could be a loon because they don't look like a typical loon. And obviously the loon look is like signature cool ass look, The other thing about loons, I know a lot of birds do this, but loons are one of those birds that will eat rocks, eat small rocks to help with their digestion because, they eat fish whole, they can't just like, they eat fish whole. It's hilarious. They can't just like chew the fish, right? So it's like you need something in there to help break down the fish, and so they swallow rocks in the meantime. After all those cool fun facts about loons, I just want to kind of tell you guys again, this is something I do every episode, why loons make sense emotionally for what Asanabenche's values represent. So first of all, there are two reasons I like the loon and I like the values that they can teach us. One being family. Family is important. They protect their family like nothing else. They will kill for their family. They will, defend the hell out of their babies. They will do anything for the fellow birds around them. Just like we want to do here in the community that we build, we want to always be there for you guys. We want to make sure that you guys feel like you guys can live the life you want to live. And when you come to our shows, we want you to be free. We want you to feel respected. We want you to feel protected. We want you to feel like there's nothing that could go wrong, nothing that can be bad about that night, nothing that can make you feel unsafe, just like loons make their babies feel. The other thing is that loons stick to water. And I think humans, we should stick to water too. I mean, look, there's the big corporations who push things like Pepsi and Coke, who, they want us to drink shit that's really bad for us, that leads to obesity, that leads to, our lives being shorter. I mean, obviously, like, you hear cases of where people are able to drink that stuff all their lives and be fine, but listen, in reality, these things are causing health problems for our society, for our people, and not only physical health problems, but mental health problems. I mean, it is not a good thing to be drinking all this bullshit like sodas and juices and chemicals and things that are, especially the sugary things where it's not good, So stick to water. Just like a loon sticks to water, let's stick to water. We don't want to fuck with the things that aren't good for us. And loons know that the land's not good for them, but we tend to ignore that things like soda and juice and, alcohol and all these things are bad for us. So let's not ignore it, Enjoy something from time to time, but let's remember that water is the healthy choice. And with that, I want to send you out with the video one more time. You can hear the song. And in terms of me, in terms of this episode, thank you for watching episode 2 of Bird of the Week. There are more episodes coming, and feel free to drop in the comments like what your favorite birds are and what you want to see be covered. We're going to get to a lot of them over time. So keep letting me know, and thank you for watching episode 2 of Bird of the Week. Happy looning!